life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Well, in a world where challenges are plentiful, it's easy for us to feel discouraged. Yet with enough guidance and support, most people can achieve more in life than they ever dreamed possible. Well, beyond your fears is everything you ever dreamed of. For the Dr. STEM Show, we'll give the voiceless a voice and the hopeless hope. And now, here she is, Dr. STEM.
Hello, real quick, before we get into the show, I wanted to invite you to a free 7-day manifesting challenge. Here's the thing. I believe that we all are capable and able to achieve our dreams and desires at any time. But we have to know how to be receptive, how to manifest and receive that which we are asking for. So for 7 days, I'll be sending you an audio or video for you to watch and then do the things that I say in that video. And then after 7 days, I can't wait. I'm so excited to hear what comes up for you, what you'll be able to achieve. So visit our website, www.drstemmy.com and www.drstemspeaks.com. Now, let's get into the show. You know, sometimes I just feel like we start talking with the guests before we start, the show, and it's almost like we're already on the show and we're about to finish. Then I remember that, we're supposed to do the show. So welcome to the Dr. STEM Show, Miss Nadia.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. So here's the scoop, just in case you're wondering what I was talking to her about, right? So I've been seeking, Dr. STEM Show guests, but I also was looking for Bounce Back Empowerment Conference, speakers about 2-3 months ago before, this upcoming November that we're doing. The Bounce Back Empowerment Conference, by the way, is in December 17th, this 2022. And Miss Nadia is going to be present.
So honored.
She is one of our speakers on there. So we are so excited. And your topic again is
bouncing back from brokenness. Yes.
Now, how chilling is that? It just gives me chills. So what I do with my guests is I tell them what the conference is about. And this year, our theme is from fear to fierce. So she brings me back this bouncing back from brokenness. And I was like,
it's going to be so vulnerable. It's going to be so much healing. It's going to be an experience. And when you walk away from that session, you're going to have the tools to help you to become a better version of yourself, a healed version, even if the healing isn't complete. I like that phrase. The Bible is one of my favorite books. So I like that phrase. When Jesus asked someone who's sick, do you want to be made whole? And we kind of forget that wholeness isn't only physical healing. He said, do you want to be made whole? That's emotionally, that's spiritually, that's physically. And so that's the type of healing I hope that we all can have as we go through that session.
Thank you so much. We are looking forward to it. If you have not registered yet, please go to www.drstemmy.com and register, because it's got some powerful, dynamic speakers. You heard an accent from Miss Nadia. Miss Nadia, where are you at right now?
I'm from the Bahamas. I currently reside in the capital city, New Providence, Bahamas. And I have been sounding the message over here to join the conference. So people are so excited. I've also shared it on my social media pages as well. And so I'm excited to see what is going to happen. We know when things like this happen, you can't help but be excited because you know what's going to take place. Yes. We're going to be breaking chains. You know we're going to be restoring lives. So, I mean, you get so excited to get the work done.
You're right. You're right. And before we even get into the nitty-gritty of the interview, I haven't even introduced her yet. Let me tell you, people in Bahamas, Jamaica, we're going to do Jamaica too, but in the Bahamas, I was just talking to Miss Nadia and letting you know that February or March, we're going to be talking about it. We are bringing the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference in the Bahamas. Let me tell you, it's going to be a party like no other to open up 2023. So what I usually do when I bring the Bounce Back in any country that I go to, I get one of your favorite DJs or two of your favorite DJs and we party. So I don't know who he is. Miss Nadia is going to tell me. Maybe you're watching this show and you're saying, I'm the favorite DJ in the Bahamas. Let me know, because I want the favorite DJs to come and play at our conferences, because we're talking about partying, inspiration, motivation, encouragement, so that every woman that attends it leaves, that conference different, but filled with much more for their life. And we love the brothers too, and the uncles, and you all can come. We ain't discriminating. It's for women, but I'm just saying, don't be scared. Don't be scared.
No, we welcome them as well.
Yes. So more information will be coming about that. I'm very excited because we were just talking about it before the show, and we nearly missed the time of starting the show because we were like all off on a tangent and everything. So let me tell you a little bit about Miss Nadia. Her full name is Nadia Rodriguez Bueno, because her husband might say, whoa, she is mine. You better mention me. So she's Nadia Rodriguez Bueno. And I'll tell you a little bit about her, and we will mention your name too, sir. Nadia is an educational psychologist and a certified life and vegan health coach.
Yes. Can you imagine?
She's the creator of The Shift, a faith-based personal and soul development coaching service, Woman of Value, which is a female empowerment service, and Making It Work God's Way, which is a YouTube podcast that she produces with her husband, Mr. Osvaldo Rodriguez Bueno. She's also the radio host. No wonder why she wasn't even scared to come on and everything. I was like, you're so comfortable. She's like, I'm a radio host. And then I look at the bio, it says she's a radio host for Simply Healthy on Word SBC 88.3 FM in Bahamas. When Nadia is not singing, speaking, or coaching and counselor, I'm sure she loves this because she loves spending time with her family. Her best accomplishment is being a wife to the incomparable, as she calls him, Mr. Osvaldo Rodriguez Bueno. Nadia is humbled to be in partnership with the Lord by using this special gift to make a global and internal impact. And I thank you for allowing us here at Dr. STEM Show to be a part of that impact that you are making.
Thank you for having me. I am honored to be here.
Thank you so much. Let me tell you what I did. The show that was before you, right, was with a lady from the Bahamas. The Bahamas. She's from Canada. You're from the Bahamas. She's from Canada, and she was talking about. She's a law of attraction coach, and I'm a law of attraction believer and practitioner as well. And I also believe and love my God with all my heart, right? So one of the struggles that I was having was, I had people that told me that you can be a believer in God and then believe in the law of attraction. And then the law of attraction, people said, you can be a person that believes in God and be a law of attraction. So I was like caught in between. And 25 years I've been doing work where I know God is, after my heart and is using me and I'm his instrument. And I know with the law of attraction, it helps me believe in God even more because of the law of attraction. Have you ever heard that struggle between those two? Do you believe in the law of attraction? Let me ask.
Well, let me say this. I have heard the struggle between theories, scientific theories, and other philosophies, and the struggle of believing in the Bible and God. This struggle will continue forever. But I will say this, sometimes some of these same theories that we have and we're learning, we think they're new, but nothing is new under the sun. For example, there's a verse in the Bible that says, if I be lifted up, I will draw, I will attract all men toward me. So there's a key there. He wants us to lift him up, lift his lifestyle up, lift loving him up. And as you do that, people are drawn. It's like a magnet to you and what you have to offer. And especially if we're offering this healing that we talked about before, if we're offering life-changing transformations,
exactly,
who will not want to be drawn to that? So these theories have their own labels and their own names, but I truly believe that many of these things have been around for years and years, and now we just change the name sometimes, or we make the concept sound new. But if we do our best to draw, lift up who we believe, lift up Christ, people will be drawn to us. And so I do believe in that.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. I believe also, just like you said, right, that the law of attraction helps us to not worry, to not be afraid of who we are, to not be afraid to have, to not be afraid to ask, because the Bible itself says you have not because you ask not. But then we are afraid.
I could show you all of it, just like you said. You believe in yourself. He wants you to believe in yourself. He wants you to love yourself. He wants you to know that you can do all things
through Christ who strengthens you.
There's a story in the Bible that blew my mind when I really read it. It's the story when after the flood, the people were building this tower so that they would not be lost in the flood again. They were building the tower, almost reaching to heaven. And so the scripture says, and God stopped them because the people had made up their minds. Boom, powerful to me. Nadia, that means if you make up your mind to do something, only God can stop you. Sweet child, I was like, boom.
Unstoppable.
And it is real. And it's real. And one of my mentors, Les Brown, he always says, there's greatness within you. And people have a problem with that. What do you mean there's greatness within you? Well, the Bible says, greater is he that is within you than he that is of the world. There is greatness
in you. Okay. I say, boom. There is greatness. So talking about that, about having greatness in you, thinking back in your childhood memories, what's like, a memory that comes through to you when I mention, tell me about a childhood memory.
Well, I can share one with you that really solidified the work that I'm trying to do and the person that I'm trying to become. And that was all the time. When I got my report cards, my teacher would say, Nadia talks too much. Nadia talks too much every year from primary school straight up until I graduate. Every report card said, Nadia talks too much. And, there was a point my mom said, please, Nadia, go to school and don't talk. Just sit there, okay? I'm tired of the teacher telling me you talk too much. And now I'm seeing it. That's something that was looked at in my childhood as bad or not profitable or not ideal came out or became the best thing in all I do in my line of work is talk. All I do is talk. And so I am so grateful that this thing that was something bad from my childhood, it has produced so much seed and strong fruit now in my adulthood.
Miss Nadia, I'm sure you can see me going,
I know.
For me, it wasn't my teacher. It was my mom and everybody. They're like, you talk too much. Everybody was, you talk too much. So I've had the blessing, and honor to travel around the world with my mother as I speak on stages. Yes. And I always say to people, my mother who's sitting right there used to tell me, that I talk too much. And mom, I will never stop reminding you that I get paid to talk too much.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Listen to me. It's serious because I really believe in that sometimes our gifts are so visible, but because we are so blinded by maybe what society says, or sometimes our parents trying to do their best. My mom was trying to do her best. She
Even
just didn't want to have to hear from the teacher calling her to say I talk too much, or reading it on my report card, I talk too much, so it is just that sometimes our gifts are sitting right there, and mine was sitting right there.
there.
I had no
Yes.
idea because I always looked at it as bad, trying to go to the class and just sit there and look at the teacher and not talk, or not talk to my friends, or not help them to feel better through the day. Or all of my friends would call me all the time, give me advice about this situation. What would you do in this? And I even realized that in itself was a gift. Besides my voice, having the wisdom and having people trust you to help them resolve their problems or see a new perspective is a gift.
Yes.
And so that just was mind-blowing now that I realized
Yeah.
that gift was there all along.
And you know what? Now that we are now, two people that understand that it started off when we were young and we were annoying at that time to everybody around us, right? I think it's also a responsibility of ours to please encourage parents out there that have talkative children like we were, naughty children that like we were. Because for me, what he did was, I now can talk about it because now, I have worked through that in therapy. I have worked through that in trainings, because then that was holding me back, because then I didn't want to talk too much. I didn't want to, lift my head. So it took me until in my 40s to start doing what it is that I'm doing now. So we want your children to not wait until their 40s, because they can still hear your voice and they can still hear you saying, don't do that. And I love my mom. She has apologized and said, if I knew now that this is who you are and what you're doing, I wouldn't have stopped you a long time ago. I said, Mom, but you didn't know. And it was also God's path for me to go through it and understand it now. But if we can, narrow that gap, and you're a parent that is watching this here, encourage your children to build on that gift. But with the teachers, you cannot just call a teacher or email the teacher and say, you know what, I'm not going to tell my child to stop talking because that could be her gift. Please don't do that. You can go nicely to the teacher and say, you know what, I totally know that she's annoying and everything. I would try and tone it down, but then I also don't want to shut her down if that's going to be who she is, because then she can grow. Try and use her, give her more to do in the class so that she's talking and doing that, right?
Yeah, to make it something that is constructive or nurturing. And I have a nephew, and his mom complains about that all the time. She said, "Oh gosh, this child does not stop talking." So it starts with us, like you said, as a parent. So our parents did their best, but now she has this golden opportunity because now we understand. So I said to her, nurture his gift. Put him in a class, put him in some kind of activity where he can develop his gift. He takes a mic and he sings. He takes a mic and he just talks and talks and likes to see himself. I said, this is his gift. And you know what? I'll tell you a secret. Well, it's not a secret now. I'll tell you something that was powerful, right? My sister is having a baby. Her in the summer, she sent him over because she lives in the United States. She sent him over to me for the summer. And he's like, I really want to have a sister. And I said, okay, we'll just pray for it. So we prayed, and I recorded him as he was praying, right? I sent it to her. She's pregnant with a girl child. So I told her, I said, let me tell you, not only does this boy talk, but he is prophetic.
Look at that.
So this is what she says now. She says, look at that. If you want my child to pray for you, it's a charge fee of $1,000. I said, okay, mama.
He's anointed, you see.
Exactly. So we don't see them as children. It was Samuel who went looking for David when David was only a child.
Yes.
And the person that he was looking for fit the stature that he thought in his mind a king should be. But from was a child. He had strength, inner strength. He had skill. He was a king. And so as a child, we can nurture and grow these gifts so that when they become adult, we don't have to wait till you and I'm almost going to be 40. We don't have to wait until we're 40 to realize what God has given us. They can have it from now. And look at the impact that that can make if that child knows who he or she is from then and grows into that instead of waiting until they're 40 to grow into it.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. You're right. And as we are on that path as well, remember I told you guys that mine was at 40 when I realized that, you know what, I have to let go of this fear, you know, that I had learned, because that wasn't my fear. It was my mother's fear that people would talk about, you know, this child who's talkative with everything. Because in me, I mean, for me, I was having fun and I was being myself, right? So it cost me time. But then now I'm saying to you, if you're an adult that is also has a gift, that is also afraid that, you know what, you can still hear the voice, you are still afraid of what people would say. Today, as you come across this show, is a day of your beginning for you to begin being you, being free, being fearless and unstoppable.
Don't wait another moment.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
You can't wait another moment. You have to do it now. And like you said, you feel that on the inside.
Yes.
I felt it, although I was doing other work. Actually, when I went to college, I wanted to be a lawyer. And I guess that goes along with talking too. And then someone said, no, you'll be a good teacher. I said, okay, let me go. I started being a teacher. And then I took my first psychology class and it just captivated me. Wow. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do educational psychology where I could learn how to counsel and learn how to diagnose and learn. And in working, the more I worked in a classroom, the more I knew this was not what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to be working with children as a counselor. I'm supposed to be feeding into people's lives, pouring into people's lives. The more I started working as a counselor, I got the opportunity. I started to work as a counselor. The more I said, this isn't it. This is not it either. This, like, you know, I hadn't put my finger on it. I was closer, but still not where I needed to be yet. And so I started to do coaching, and my friends were still calling me sometimes in the middle of the morning. I need your advice on this. Lord, this is what you want me to do. You want me to feed your sheep and they need to be fed. And so guess what? I started to do the coaching. I had a whole health journey. That's how come I became a vegan, certified vegan coach. I had started at 283 pounds, Dr. Stem. Yeah, I saw that eyes. I saw your eyes. God has been good. I had started at 283 pounds, praise the Lord. And I transitioned, changed my diet so that I could lose weight. And it was, and as I did that, more and more awareness started to happen. I start to see, it was like scales were dropping from my eyes and I could see the path clearly. Oprah talks about something sometimes where she said there's this light and you follow it. And as you go, you could also almost see every step. And that part didn't happen for me in that way. But as I became more aware of the plan of my life, of my purpose in my life, more doors started opening and I could see the path. I could see where I needed to go. And so that's why we're telling you as adults from now, this is possible. We have both experienced it. It's not something that we're talking about that we read in a book. And so the way we've experienced it may not be your exact path, but it is possible for you to have the same awareness and awakening as we did.
Yes. Thank you for that. And, you know, there's always something, you know, that also drives us, you know, to do the work that we do or to become the best version of ourselves and do what, you know, we have to do, right? I know many people, when they see me, they're like, wait, did you say, if you don't know me, please follow me on my social media. I am one woman that is not afraid to tell you March 9th is my birthday. So this coming March 9th, I'm turning 58, 2 more years from 60. And that's what scares me, to the fact that I have to show up every day and do the best that I can and make the most of each minute, because time is not on our side. We are not in control of it,
No.
except we are in control of what we do with the time, but it's moving.
Yeah. I follow Dr. Miles Monroe. He's also a mentor of mine. He was a mentor, continues to be. And one thing he says is that when you have identified your purpose and the vision for your life, you realize you don't have time to waste. You realize you need to be working and getting it out there. So what you've experienced is something that happens as a result of understanding your vision and your purpose in life. It almost puts you in this accelerated mode to get things done, to get the message out there, to make the impact. And so that is a normal thing. And I must say, you look beautiful. You look beautiful, very beautiful, my dear. You're very graceful, gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And my heart and wish is that for every woman that is in business and every aspiring woman that is in business lives and make sure that your life is healthy, happier, and wealthier. And that's why we do this show, so that you can come on here and make it your vision board and make it your calling to say, I'm going to tell the world what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And every woman that is supposed to work with me, every man and child that is supposed to work with me will see me on the Dr. Stamp Show, and many will. Here's what happens. We all are doing work of service. So do not be afraid if you're a coach, if you're a counselor, if you are, and you have the same business as I have, or, Miss Nadia has, or somebody has. Your following, your customers will not at all connect with me or Nadia, because they were created to connect with you. Nadia's clients can never connect with me because they are supposed to work with me. But then on the other hand, we bring in sometimes what we call the same service, but a different way of bringing the service. So if you are smart, I will take from Nadia what I need to take. I'll take from Dr. Stem what I need to take. And then in there, I become the best me that will show up and do the work. We are talking about mentors like, Dr. Miles Monroe, who's no longer with us. Somebody needed to take that baton and continue the great works that he did. I am, doing what I need to do. Miss Nadia is doing what she's doing right now. We need people to take the baton also, because we don't know who's going to go to heaven first. But if we do, we don't want no children to be left behind without knowing what we know and doing what we do. Is it right?
It's that important. And the thing about it is, when you see someone like a Dr. Miles Monroe, he is not here with us now, but the impact continues. The legacy continues. And that is the type of lifestyle I aspire to have. You go in the food store, you talk about you doing your work and me doing my work. You go into the food store and there are many options for bread, many options for spaghetti sauce, many options for all sorts of products. They're all the same one product, but they're variety different. And so even if you have clients that are your clients may also be clients of someone else, or encourage people to become your clients. So it is that we need to understand that with our fingerprints, and I love to use this analogy, God has given us fingerprints. None of our fingerprints are the same. So the impact we have, the reach we have, the touch, the connection won't be the same. Even if we are doing the same thing, you are unique and so am I. And that is what we need to let the listeners understand, that your gift needs to be out there, and you have to look at it as that. Your gift needs to be out there. Someone needs your gift because no one else can do it just like you. That is your fingerprint.
Well said. Well said. What's your favorite color?
Blue. I love blue, especially royal blue.
Ooh, especially royal blue.
Royal blue.
This one, I think you already answered, do you believe in God?
Yes, I do. That's the foundation of my life. And spiritual growth happens in different ways. Some people look at the Bible, for example, and they look at it as fake or fictional, and that's fine. You know, you can look at it as you desire. However, there's so much to learn there that you can apply to your life. So I do not shut off my life and say that I wouldn't read this and I wouldn't read this and I wouldn't read this. But what I do is I eat the fruit and the seeds that are not particularly palatable or digestible. I spit those out, but I eat the fruit and I get what I can get from the fruit. And it's not only one-sided. However, I do believe in God, and that has been a strong foundation for my purpose and my life. Yes.
Any Bible verse that, probably is the center or focus of your life that, helps you understand your life calling as well as, what you were created to do?
Oh, there are several.
Give me two. Give me two.
Okay. Well, I'll give you one Bible verse in particular that I love, that I really have been reading and speaking into my life as an affirmation every day. And that comes from Psalm 1, where it says, "You shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters, and your leaves will not wither, and you will grow fruit, and everything you touch will prosper." I speak that. Look at that. I speak that over to that's so powerful. Nadia, you will be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters. Your leaves will not wither, and you will grow fruit in its season, and everything you touch will prosper.
Yes. Hallelujah.
So I say that's from Psalm 1. I say that over my life all the time, reminding myself that even in difficult moments, I am a tree planted by the river of waters, and it's promised that everything I touch will prosper. Another thing, a story that has really been impactful for me was the story of Moses. So, during that time, there was a decree to kill all these babies,
Yes.
Murder of these children, and Moses' mother hid him. And then it got to a point that she couldn't hide him anymore. She puts him in a bassinet, she puts him in the river, and she sends him on the way, hoping that God will protect him. And God did. When I think about the river, and I said, all these anacondas and crocodiles, and God protected that child in so many ways. And then he floats up to the princess. We know the story. He floats up to the princess, who was the daughter of the Pharaoh at the time, and she takes him onto herself. And so she says, but she didn't have a baby, but she needed a nurse for the baby. So then Miriam, who was Moses' sister, she was watching the bassinet go along the river. She comes out and she said, I can find a nurse for the baby. And she takes the baby home to its mother. Again, now listen to this. Then it says, Jochebed was Moses' mother. She was paid to take care of her own child. So I said, Lord, you're going to pay me to birth the gift you gave to me.
You gave me, yes.
I will birth this gift. I will nurture this gift. I will nurse this gift. I will train this gift. And you will pay me to birth the gift you gave me. Thank you, Lord. I keep those in mind so that I can keep my vision in the front of my eyes. The Bible says that, faith is a thing that we hope for, but evidence of things that are not seen. The evidence isn't seen, but the hope is there. The vision stays steadfast in my mind with the hope and the faith that the evidence will manifest itself. Yeah. So those are two.
I had not read Psalm 1 and understood it the way he just said. So I'm writing it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna
go back. Yes. And declare it. Declare it. Everything that you touch will prosper. And that's every good thing. And that's everything that is going to be helpful for somebody else as well. Because sometimes we think about our gifts just for ourselves. And when we do that, we don't make the impact that we are supposed to have. We are to be servants to others. And it doesn't mean slaves, but servants, yes. And so the more we put out our gifts, the more we seek to impact, the more we want to expand our impact. Another thing that happened to me, I lived in Mexico for 8 years of my life. And during my time in Mexico, I was at that time a singer. I sing. That was my first discovery of my talent, right? So then I couldn't sing because I wasn't speaking Spanish yet. And so I just prayed. That time the prayer of Jabez was big. You know, it had just come about. And so I had a prayer of Jabez devotional. And I said, Lord, let me see if this prayer is going to work for me. Enlarge my territory.
My territory, yes.
Listen to me. When I prayed that prayer and I was serious, God started opening doors for me to sing in English places that I didn't even know existed. After he had already called me to do that, now he said, I winked on your ignorance. You didn't know Spanish. Now your Spanish is better. Learn some songs in Spanish. I started to sing in Spanish.
Wow.
It is possible what God would do if you ask. So he is going to enlarge our territories. You start speaking. Who knew that I would be called to be at the Dr. STEM conference to speak? Who knew? God, me? Yes, you. And so he will enlarge your territory in ways that you can't even see. The manifestation evidence. Faith is the things hoped for. The evidence of things that are not seen. This is the manifestation of those hopes, dreams, and vision. Yes. So definitely.
I couldn't end this show on a better note. I'm not going to add on to that. What I'm going to do is to ask Miss Nadia to sing us my favorite song. Because I did not know that she's a singer. And when I meet singers, I always want to hear a rendition of this song, Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace. Wow.
Because it is by his amazing grace that we are able to bring you this show and meet people from around the world that will inspire you, encourage you, empower you, and motivate you to live your best life ever. And with that, I wouldn't be amiss to have this opportunity to have this world-renowned Caribbean singer sing for us. Amazing Grace.
Oh boy, okay. So I will sing this for you. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I am found. I was blind, but thank God now I see. Okay. She's like, more.
I'm speechless. So with that, I invite all of you to join us December 17th of this 2022. We're going to be virtual, and Miss Nadia is one of our honored, distinguished guests this year at the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. As I always say, this is Dr. STEM. Be encouraged.